Hi everyone, Chris here. I'm taking a look today in this video at an external SSD. This one was sent out to me from Sabrent. It is the Rocket Nano. Now this is an external SSD that works with USB 3.1 and also Thunderbolt 3 spec. They claim it has write and read speeds of up to 1000 megabytes per second. So in this review, I'll take a look at the contents of the box, what accessories we get, the build, the design of it, and of course, will it actually meet that claim? Or test out the sequential read and write speeds, as well as a quick CrystalDiskMark test as well. And then at the end, I'll let you know my thoughts on using this after a week or so. So it comes in this solid tin, and if you have a look at the back of it, it does give us a little bit of information here. So as I mentioned just there at the start with my intro, that yes, this is the 2 terabyte version. There are other sizes that you can get with this particular Rocket Nano model. So extremely fast transfer speeds. Their claim is up to 1000 megabytes per second, but I'll be testing that out soon. So we've got 6061 aluminium alloy construction, or 6061 aluminum, which is a little bit more denser, a little bit stronger, so it shouldn't scratch up and ding as easy as softer constructions that you get with other ones. And okay, we've got optimized passive cooling with integrated temperature and health monitoring. And also the important one here is it does have advanced wear leveling and bad block management. That's important for longevity, of course, of SSDs there, so it should last the distance. And what do we get inside? So you don't actually get a lot, and they just keep things nice and simple there. So there's the drive, nicely presented. And then we have our cables. So we have a USB to Type-C, and then Type-C to Type-C, or Thunderbolt 3 to Thunderbolt 3. Okay, so how much does this little guy weigh? Not a lot at all. You can see just 45 grams, so that's very light. So it is almost 70 millimeters in length, and the width of it, well, it doesn't seem to be much at all. Let's have a look. About 12 millimeters right there. So it has a really nice build to it. We've got the Sabrent logo there, a little rocket logo as well. Now pressing this in, this is not a button, although it looks like it could have been a button. It is definitely not. On the sides, there's nothing, as you can see. And then up front, we do have, of course, the Type-C port here with a blue status LED next to it. On the bottom, there's just nothing here apart from just some markings, a serial number and a QR code. But overall, very nice build. So as soon as you plug it in here in Windows 10, it pops up and I've got 1.86 terabytes free. That's a lot of space. And of course, there are different sizes that you can buy this particular model. So first up, I want to just do some plain transfers. This is what I would be using this particular drive for. It's just backing up some of my video files from my reviews that I record. So let's just move over a large amount here. I've actually got 40 gigabytes I'm going to transfer over in MP4 files. So it starts out really quick, but watch this. It's around their claim now, so they say about 1000 megabytes per second. You can see it will dip down. The lowest I've seen, if you're doing this for a long time, is about 500 where it levels out. It will peak up and down. Now I am using a USB 3.1 port here, and Thunderbolt speeds, Thunderbolt 3 would be about the same. So it's not quite as they claimed, is it? I guess whatever they're using with their testing is probably a much smaller burst speed. So the burst speed is very good, you can see there. And then it levels down to a little bit lower, but that's where it will stay. We'll just sit there, and I've transferred over more and more files. In fact, I transferred over about 500 gigabytes, and it's always going to be just over 500 megabytes per second. Sequential transfer speeds here I'm talking about. All right, and one last test. This is CrystalDiskMark version 7, the latest at the time of this video. Let's see how it performs here. So I'm just going to speed this video up so you don't have to sit through this for a couple of minutes, of course. And we'll check the performance. Okay, so that just finished up, and it's the same kind of results that I was doing with that manual file transfer test. That yes, the writes will kind of max out at about 500 and 6500 megabytes per second. And the reads there a little bit slower as well. Now touching it again, it does feel quite warm to the touch. It's not getting super hot, so it's nothing to worry about. And it's normal that they do get hot, these flash drives. They will get warm. Now the random 4K reads a little bit lower than I was expecting there, but the random writes, considering this is an external drive, I don't think are too bad. So if you're transferring over a lot of very small files, then it's not going to be super quick, but it should not actually be too bad there, as you can see from these stats. It's not going to be that bad. I think that's okay for, again, an external drive. So that's a Rocket Nano, guys. I think overall it is a very nice little SSD. It does have a great build quality. So the case of it being all metal acts as a passive cooler for it, because SSDs, when they're moving a lot of data over, these high-speed SSDs that they do get quite hot. And this one is no exception to that rule, that when you touch it, right now it's actually been on, I had it on before working and transferring files over, that it is warm, very warm to the touch, but it gets up to around about 40 degrees. It's not going to cook itself or get into any sort of trouble there, but it does have sensors in it to monitor those temperatures. And that's why it does throttle down a little bit. So at the beginning there, you will see these burst speeds that are very good. They got really high, up to about 2,000 megabytes per second, and even higher than that. It levels out to then about 1, but it does drop below their claim. And I know they do say up to 1,000 megabytes per second, but I was expecting just a little bit better. Now, when you start to transfer huge files, you do big backups, and you want to move, say, 100 gigabytes worth of data over onto this, then you'll see it start out as I showed you, quite quick, and then drop down and level out about 560 megabytes per second, which is about almost half of their claim there. That's just really the only disappointment with this particular little model here. The main thing is the size of it too is really great. Now, yes, there are those external enclosures out there that you can buy. You can make up your own one, but they're not probably going to come with this kind of quality here, a complete sealed, nice block of aluminium that this is in here, or aluminum, depending on where you're from, of course. So thank you for watching this very short review, at least for me, because my reviews are normally really long, of the Rocket Nano.